was right. They dropped the price on the Samsung Galaxy A54 as soon as the 7A got here. I could basically go back and rewind and go back to one of my videos a few weeks ago. I knew they were going to do this because that's how Samsung works. I called it. I said the A54 was too overpriced at $449. I said there will be a price drop once the Pixel 7a gets here. Lo and behold, they dropped the price on it. Here's the thing. They're selling this one for $499 right now. I can guarantee you, come back and watch this later and leave a comment, but as soon as the Pixel 7a is announced and you can pre-order it, I bet you they drop this on sale to $349, maybe $399, but probably $339 or $359, something like that. It's going to be cheaper because they're going to want to undercut the sales. So keep your eye peeled for that. If you want one of these, wait until the Pixel 7a drops. You'll get this cheaper. Like, I can almost guarantee it. You can get it for $379, $374.99 at Best Buy. That's without activation. That's just straight up walk in and buy it. But the moral of the story is, play the deals. Samsung can't help himself. Neither can Google. The 7a is going to get a price drop probably soon enough anyway. But comparing these two phones, the best A series, light series that Google has to offer, and the best mid-tier, lower series that Samsung has to offer, this is probably what you're going to look at whenever you go in if you're looking at a $300-$400 phone. And there's some great things here because, well, the nice thing is these mid-tier, budget-tier phones, they're getting so good now that you get a really great experience. This isn't like 2 or 3 years ago where you walk in, you're like, oh, I'm not going to get any updates. This is 1 or 2 Android versions behind. It's a crap phone, but I just need something to get me by. It's not like that anymore. A54, pretty decent phone. I bought it and I broke it improper. I dropped it. It fell out of my pocket and got scuffed up. And yeah, I have it. So fundamentally, if you're looking at performance, I'm going to try this a different way. If you're looking for performance, get the Pixel 7a. I've been using the Samsung Galaxy A54 and the Exynos chip in it. It is trash. Like, it's not good. Now, it's good enough, like, well, as you load things, you load an app in and you just use it for a while, you're good. But you can notice when you switch apps, whenever you go to open another one, if you open too many up, you can tell. Like, you can tell that it's a paper tiger. Like, there's not a whole lot of teeth behind this processor, and that's really sad, but that's just the way Samsung does its business. So if you're looking at it from a power and performance perspective, don't touch the A54, get the Pixel 7a. So when it comes to the cameras on these, one surprising thing is normally Samsung kind of wins in this department, especially with the budget phones. But the Pixel 7a, since it has the brand new 64 megapixel camera, it has an ultra wide camera. You see there's 2 cameras here on the back. There's 3 on the back of the A54. Now, you've got a 50 megapixel on the back, and then you've got also an ultra wide. You've got a macro camera. So you can do those National Geographic up close and personal shots. And then the selfie camera. I don't know. I think the selfie camera, I think across the board, I think the cameras might actually be better on the Pixel than they are on the Samsung. Now, I think the selfie camera might still be better on the Samsung, and video on the selfie I think is better. But when it comes to on the backside, the primary camera actually does 4K at 60 on the Pixel 7a. The front camera is 4K at 30, but yeah, the Samsung Galaxy A54 is 4K at 30 on the back too. So I think video on the back of the Pixel wins. I think video on the front of the Samsung wins. And then I think that the overall camera taking capability is better when it comes to the Pixel, especially point and shoot stuff. Even though this is a newer camera and it's not quite on the same level as the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, it's better than last year's Pixel 6a, I think, which won lots of prizes, lots of accolades. So I think that Google did a really good job even still with the cameras here, even though it's the first year with the newer one and they bumped it up for the A series. So that's kind of my assessment when it comes to the overall video and camera stuff. But both of them, the nice thing is they both take good pictures. They both do pretty good in the video department. And that's something that you really kind of expect from a $400 or $500 phone. And I think both of them deliver pretty well in that department. But when it comes to low light, the Google wins, the Pixel 7a, especially with the AI and the machine learning, computational photography stuff. You can tell a big difference, especially snapping those photos at nighttime. The shutter and the lag and the processing time, way faster on the Google phone. So this is kind of a snapshot with the cameras, but both of them are very good. But performance wise, if you want to do any gaming, you want to do any multitasking, if you use your phone pretty hard, if you're just not doing light stuff like browsing the internet and just using Twitter, then yeah, performance wise, the Tensor G2 wins all day long. If you put the Tensor G2 up against this Exynos 3810, I think is what it is, it blows it out of the water. And especially when it comes to smart stuff. Like if you care about anything that's AI, machine learning, computational photography stuff, low light photography, like there's a lot of stuff that really the Tensor hammers down on, and it just beats the pants off of the A54. So true flagship performance that you would get, same performance as the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. And that's the thing. When you take a look at the mid-series phones, what Samsung does here is they give you this nice, sleek, really good looking phone that looks a lot like, well, the S23 and the S23 Plus. They give you a beautiful screen, 120 hertz refresh rate, decent selfie camera, and then you realize there's no power. So that's the big thing. So if you want cameras, point and shoot stuff, especially speed, nighttime photography, nighttime video, stuff like that, then the Pixel 7a is the winner here. So both of them have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now you can get a 6 gigabyte of RAM version with the A54. If you get the entry model, then it comes with 6 gigs of RAM. I don't really think the 6 versus the 8 really matters all that much, just because from day-to-day perspective, you're not really doing a whole lot of stuff that's going to be RAM intensive with this phone. But if you try, you notice real quick. And that's when it comes back to the power and the performance. And we're talking about 2 primary cores on here clocked at like 2.85 gigahertz or something like that. So plenty of power, plenty of sophistication. Now, updates, software and updates. So you get the stock Android experience on the Pixel 7a. One thing that really surprised me, I didn't know we were going to get facial recognition. So you got facial recognition, fingerprint scanner on this one, on the Pixel 7a, and then over here on the Samsung Galaxy A54, you get the same thing. You get the facial recognition technology and you get the fingerprint scanner. So those are 2 nice things that you get here as well. They're both IP67 dust and water resistance, and the charging is still pretty slow on both. So the charging's pretty slow on both. You get wireless charging on the Pixel, although very slow. And then you get just regular wired charging over here. So you get 20 watt wired charging on the Pixel, you get 25 watt wired charging on the Samsung, wireless charging on the Pixel, no wireless charging on the Samsung, 5,000 milliamp battery. So you got about a 4,400 milliamp battery over here with the Tensor G2. It's okay on battery. I have tested extensively the Pixel 7 with the Tensor. You should be able to get 6.5 hours screen on time out of this, out of the Pixel 7a. And then when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy A54, you're also looking at about 6 hours, 6.5 hours screen on time. Now, it depends on how much you use it. Standby time is actually pretty good. I think standby time might be a little bit better on the Samsung than it is on the Google, but really, they're both all-day phones. Like, you should be able to get through the day with either one of these phones, and I think that that's great, especially when you look at what you're capable and able to do with these phones. Again, there's less power, less performance when it comes to the Galaxy, and maybe you don't notice that. Like, maybe it's not that big of a deal to you, but whenever I sit down and I use both of these phones, the 7a is snappy, it's responsive. You can play AAA titles if you want. You can play Fortnite on here. You can play Apex Legends. You can play Diablo Immortal, all that stuff. But the phone does get pretty warm. That's just the byproduct of the Tensor chip. Whenever you're using GPS for a while, whenever you leave the screen on for a long time, recording 4K video for like 20 minutes, whenever you're doing extensive video gaming, it does get pretty hot. Now, it's never overheated on me. None of the Tensors have, but you can definitely feel that it gets warm. Now, accessories. I want to talk about this because there's a decent amount of accessories for both. There's a whole lot of, I like to call them alphabet soup manufacturers, where it seems like they just plug all these different syllables together and they go, yeah, we've got these cases, and so many of them are clones and lookalikes. There's plenty enough cheap cases you can get for both of them. I'm using the Rinky Onyx case. I paid $15.99 for this one. There's plenty of like Rinky cases, Spigen cases, Caseology. There's a lot of different like name brand ones for the Pixel 7a that I think I saw more than the A54. But I paid $15.99 for this. Here's the kicker though. So I got this Mr. Shield screen protector, which I've used before. It was a 3-pack, all the stuff you need to install it, $6.95. $6.95 for a 3-pack of screen protectors is pretty darn good. So that's a nice win there. I've got a link in the description if you're curious about that. Yeah, and then there's also some decent stuff. I'll have a suggestion or two for the cases in the description for the A54 as well. So if you really like to consume a lot of social media, like if you like to consume media, social media, if you like to watch videos, you're probably going to want the Samsung. Why is that? Because the Samsung Galaxy A54 has the really nice AMOLED on here. Of course, both of these screens are made by Samsung, but the one on the Samsung phone, actually, it's brighter, and I think that overall it's a nicer quality screen. Of course, 120 hertz refresh rate. They're both 1080p. You get 90 hertz refresh rate over here on the Pixel, which I think is fine. But if you really use your phone a lot, really like to look at the screen, really like to do that stuff, then you probably want to go ahead and pick up the A54 because I think that this has a better screen in it. And that's really the thing. They make the A54 look really attractive. Like they make it look nice. It looks like the premium flagship phones. It's shiny, it's sleek, it's got a flat screen on it, which of course the Pixel does as well. But they put a lot of effort into making this phone look really nice, and the screen looks really, really nice, and the speakers are pretty good too. Both of them have stereo speakers, and I think that both of them, honestly, I'd say it's about the same. Like the speakers are both good on both of them, so you get a nice stereo experience that way. One nice thing you can get on the Samsung though, it has expandable SD card slot, so you get expandable SD card on the Samsung. You can throw extra storage in there. You don't get that on the Pixel 7a. So that is one other nicety as well. They both have Bluetooth. You can both connect your earbuds and all that great stuff. And overall, I think the experience is good for using both of them. Both of them are running Android 13. You get One UI over on the Samsung, and you get the stock Android experience over here. And nowadays, they're both pretty darn good. So you're really not missing out or losing if you get either one of them. And they're both supported for up to 5 years. So you get 5 years of security patches on both. You get 3 years of operating system updates on the Pixel, and you get 4 years of operating system updates on the Samsung. And both of these phones probably will last about that long. I think you're going to have a better, longer, more enjoyable experience with less hiccups and less degradation over time when it comes to performance with the Tensor chip that you get in here. And a lot of people might want to argue that and say, oh, the Samsung's better, but it's using an Exynos. Now, it's neither one is a Snapdragon, and if you know a lot about the Google Tensor chip, it's actually made by Samsung. Like the design and all that stuff is given to them, the specs from Google, and then they make it using their process for making the processors. You have a 100% true Exynos in the A54, which is okay. It's not the greatest in the world. It's not bad. It's just a decent mid-tier 8-core processor. But really, you're going to get true power and performance coming out of the Pixel 7a. So, performance-wise, Pixel. Cameras, I think, kind of a mixed bag toss-up between both of them just because of the blend of the video and the still photography. But you're going to get way better pictures, faster, snappier, more responsive, more true-to-life pictures. With the Pixel, the video is kind of a toss-up. But, yeah, probably camera, I would say, goes to the Pixel as well. And then battery life is basically a tie. Software support, basically about a tie with a slight edge to the Samsung. Good looks. I actually like the way that I put my case back on here, but I actually like the way the Pixel 7a looks. It looks just like the Pixel 7. I think it's nice. It's refined. I like the colors. The blue color and the coral color look absolutely amazing. And then you've got some okay colors with the Samsung as well. But a lot of people, I think, like the Samsung look better. And one thing I've left here is the fingerprints. Like both of them pick up fingerprints like there's no tomorrow. But I do think aesthetically wise, people probably like the way the Samsung looks better. Charging, surprisingly, this is the only charging battle I think a Pixel is capable of winning. The charging, actually, I think the Pixel 7a wins in that regard, but both are really slow. Battery, about the same, but you get a slight leg up, just a little bit bigger battery in the Samsung. So you're probably finding a lot of stuff is actually in the Pixel favor. And that's not surprising because I think the Pixel 7a overall is a better phone. It's basically the Pixel 7, but they kind of dumbed down a few things. And, well, that makes a really good competition for the Samsung Galaxy A54. The only area, really, that the Samsung wins for me is this, the screen. And it's just like it was with the A53. I said this whole phone is built around the screen. So if you want a really good screen experience, if you want great multimedia, great video, nice, bright, brilliant AMOLED screen, 120 hertz refresh rate, yep, the Samsung wins. But if you care about other stuff and don't really care about the screen all that much, then the Pixel wins. And one other thing I want to talk about is haptic feedback for as far as typing. It's okay on the Samsung. It's really good over here on the Pixel phone, and the biometrics are about the same. They both have the optical fingerprint scanner, and they both have basic facial recognition. So it's basically a tie there. Both of them work well. But all in all, yeah, I think that the Pixel 7a is an overall better phone. Now it comes down to pricing. I talked about at the beginning of the video, under 400 bucks now, about $370, you can get a A54 brand new versus $499 for the Pixel 7a, which has gone up 50 bucks over last year. It's a $500 phone. Yes, I know that the A54 started off higher, but I called it. Like I said, as soon as the Pixel came out, bam, lowered the price on the Samsung. And Samsung's always doing stuff like that too. So yeah, that's about it in this video. I just wanted to make this comparison video. I think they're both good phones. I think that the Pixel 7a is a better phone overall, and I think you'll probably enjoy it more. Also, one other thing I almost forgot to mention is talking about the screen so much. There is a noticeably bigger screen on the Samsung Galaxy A54. So it actually has a 6.4-inch screen. So pretty nice screen size over here. And then you have a 6.1 on the Pixel. So the Pixel 90 hertz refresh rate, 1080p, 6.1 inch, and then A54 6.4 inch 1080p, 120 hertz, and also Gorilla Glass 5. So Gorilla Glass 3 over here on the Pixel, and then Gorilla Glass 5 over here on the Samsung phone. So honestly, I think it's about a wash. When it comes to the Gorilla Glass, whenever it comes to the Gorilla Glass 3, like the lower numbers, 1, 2, 3, they were more prioritized for scratches. So you're going to have more scratch resistance when it comes to the Gorilla Glass 3, but you're going to have better shatter resistance when it comes to 5. And actually 5, Gorilla Glass 5 was pretty good. So you have Gorilla Glass 5 over here on the A54, Gorilla Glass 3 on the Pixel, but both of them are made out of plastic. Like it's a plastic phone. But that's not that big of a deal, because when it comes to plastic, it actually absorbs impact better than the metal does. It just kind of causes more cracks and breaks when it's metal and glass. So funny story, I actually had my A54, it fell out of my pocket the other day, which yeah, it was kind of a to-do thing. Wasn't cool, but I just had this phone. I got it. I had it for a day. I was waiting for my screen protector and my case to show up in the mail. Went to go take some pictures and video of another video I was working on, like another product. And I went to sit down, and as I was doing the motion to sit down, I guess I had shallow pockets on my shorts, and whoop, right out onto the concrete. So I haven't scratched up the Pixel 7a to see how it works, but yeah, the plastic I actually think helps it. And a lot of people are concerned about the plastic. I think it actually does a really good job. It's nice, it's lightweight, but with the Gorilla Glass and everything on there, they both still feel really premium. So I think premium factor is good here. I think that the 7a actually feels more premium to me, but overall they both look nice. They're both made well. Samsung, Google, they did a perfectly good job there. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. That's my comparison video between the Samsung Galaxy A54 and between the Pixel 7a. Again, pricing is really important, especially when you can get the Pixel 7a. Yeah, it costs about $100 or so more than the A54. The A54 are a great value right now at about 370 bucks, especially over at Best Buy. No contract, no commitment, unlocked. You can walk right in and you can get it. And I've got links in the description for both of these if you're curious, as well as the accessories, talking about that earlier. But that's all I got in this video. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Hopefully this gave you some insight into both of the phones, kind of how they operate, what skills and what pros and cons they have. And that's all I got. So if you have any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.